Welcome back to my channel. So last week's video was baby boy names I love but won't be using, and today's video is going to be baby girl names I love but won't be using. It's going to be the same as the last one, so there's 20 names on my list. Some of them James didn't like and some of them James did like, but they just weren't up there with the one that we actually chose in the end. We do have a girl's name planned. Boys are a disaster, but we do agree on a girl's name. We actually have two that we agree on. The first name on the list is Thea. James doesn't like the name Theo for a boy, but he likes the name Thea for a girl, which makes no sense to me because it's only one letter difference. But he likes the name Thea, and it was actually originally the name that we were going to use, but then we decided on the name that we've chosen instead. The second name is Hallie. I just got that name from somebody that I follow on Instagram who named her little girl Hallie, but it's not a name that James liked. He'd heard of the name Hayley, but he hadn't heard of the name Hallie, and he was just like, no, I'm not. Like, he just wasn't a keen bean on it, basically. The third name on the list is Paige. I haven't heard the name Paige since I was at school, and I haven't been to school for 14 years. So it's been a long time, but I just had the name come in my head and wrote it on the list, but I don't think James liked it. The fourth name is Sadie. James wasn't a keen bean on that name either, but I thought it was kind of a cute name. I just think it's one of them names that everybody knows, but it's just not used anymore, if you know what I mean. The fifth name on the list is JC, and if you watched last week's video, you'll know that JC was on that list as well. The sixth name on the list is Erin. I just thought it was cute, but James does not think so. The seventh name is Ria. I have met somebody called Ria, and it was when I first moved to Oxfordshire to live with James, so this was like 5 years ago. And we went to a pub and we were a bit tipsy and we met a girl called Ria, just random. And I was like, oh, that's a nice name. I've never heard anyone use that name before. But James didn't like it. The eighth name on the list is Sophia. I prefer it spelt with the F instead of the PH. That's just my preference for the spelling of that name. We was going to use the name Sophia. So Thea and Sophia were two names that we were going to use, and then we came up with like the name that we actually would use. So yeah, James does like the name Sophia. Ninth name is Eva. I feel like I would spell this like happily ever after, not EVA, because then people are just going to say Ava. I worked somewhere and there was a woman who works there who was actually Polish, and her name was Eva. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of cute. So I put that on my list, but James was like, that makes no sense. Like, that's not even a name. The 10th name is Ottilie. I think this is one of them names where James was like, oh, repeat that? Like, what did you just say? And I said Ottilie. He was like, cute when they're a child, not cute when they're an adult. I was like, okay, that's a no for that one. The 11th name is Juniper. Again, he just looked at me like, it sounds like Jupiter. Why are we calling our child after a planet? So he didn't like that name. The 12th name was Maria. I think I took the name Juniper and Maria from an Instagram video I watched where the woman named her baby after her friend, like her best friend. The 13th name on the list is Eden. I thought it was cute. I think I said Erin and Eden to James at the same time, and he just looked at me like, what? No. So I don't think I really got much of an explanation as to why he didn't like it, but he just didn't like it. The 14th name on the list is Delilah. I kind of like it shortened to Lila. No, actually, I prefer it as Delilah. But as soon as I said it to James, what do you think the first thing he did was? He went, hey there, Delilah. I was like, right, no, we're not doing that. The 15th name is Maeve. I think that's how you spell it, and I think that's how you pronounce it, M-A-E-V-E. It was just one of them ones where he looked at me like, what are you on? Like, are you just making these names up? The 16th name is Ivy. I thought that was an adorable name. And I've only ever met one person called Ivy, and it was a little girl. But James just felt like it was, again, one of them names that are cute when they're a baby and then they're an adult and you're like, why is this 40-year-old called Ivy? The 17th name on the list is Olivia. I love the name Olivia, and I also know that it's like the top #1 girl's name used in the UK, but my brother's ex-girlfriend is called Olivia, so probably not going to go there. Well, no, we're not going to go there. The 18th name on the list is Lottie. I thought that was cute, but James was just like, no. The 19th name is Sky. That was actually on my boy's name list last week. When I said it to him for a boy's name, his reaction was like, that's a girl's name. And then when I said, well, do you like it for a girl's name? He was like, no. So why ask? And then the 20th name on the list is Sienna. I feel like the name Sienna is just everywhere though. It is literally everywhere. So that is all of the 20 girls' names I love but won't be using. As I said, me and James do actually have a girl's name planned that we agree on. So if we are going to end up having a girl, we already know what we're going to be calling her. We have 2 names, but we won't use the second name. That was just a like, what if we ended up having twins? Because we went through IVF, we didn't know if we'd end up having twins, and we had to think about a second name as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!